Well, all right, kids, we've got the Injora pin comps and some Injora wheels. We're going to throw these together, see how they do. They feel pretty good. Sticky. I wonder if they stay sticky if they're dirty. We'll have to see. I dig the color of these wheels. That orange is just so cool. Almost got the red ones because, well, you know, we like red. That's our channel color. But these oranges, they are sharp. So they do come with foams. They're just regular foams. Turn these guys inside out real quick. I want to see something. They're sticky on the inside too. Sticky on the inside. Look at that. Ugh. Yeah. It's a thing. Ooh, what do we have here? Some Flubberstufferz. Now, Flubberstufferz just released some new Slymballz, the V5s, that are specifically for these, but we think we can still use the V4s. Is that right? They're just going to widen them out. Yeah, you need to use the V4s. They're going to be fat. So those are going to fatten up if we do that. Kind of like it. I kind of like it. Without those, they're going to be pretty thin. I do kind of like that it fattens them up a little bit. I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to put the V4 Flubberstufferz in there. And, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Now, one thing you got to remember about Flubberstufferz is they are directional. And that's the direction, right? You want them to be smooth going forward. See how they're smooth on the front here? They're like digging in. Versus going backwards, you can see it like kind of clumps together. So remember, you're going forward and they're directional. Now, with these tires, there's no real way to know which direction they are going. So let's see. If this is going to be our front, yeah, this is going to be like that. So this is our outside. This will be our inside. We need an arrow going this way. So what we'll do, we have a chrome pen. You can use a wax pen or a white pen. So we want the rotation going this way. So we're just going to mark them on the inside. Is that right? Yeah, they should be rotating this way. Seems correct. And we just have to remember to do that on each one, and make sure that we have a correct number for left and right. Okay? So we're going to get these together. We're going to check them out. Now, just in case you haven't put a set of these together yet, you don't have to do the outside ring as your, I guess, your final step when putting these together, right? So you don't have to, you might think that you put this part together and then you take the ring off and then you put them in. But really, the best thing to do is just get all your bolts in your ring, and then you can put in that side. Well, you have your ring in, your inner ring in, right? And your beadlock ring. And then use this and screw in those screws to tighten and compress your tire between the ring and your beadlock ring and your rear dish, right? I've seen some people struggle and they basically have their wheel together like this. Their beadlock ring is off. They slide this in. Well, here, I'll show you. So you have your inner ring in, right? And then your tire compresses between the inner ring and the wheel itself and your beadlock ring. So I've seen some people struggle because they'll do like this. They'll put their bolts in there. They'll have the backside. They'll put their backside in, right? And then they'll try to put their beadlock ring on top and then bolt it down that way. Obviously, there's a lot more bolts, so you have a lot easier chance of things popping out as you're going in, and it takes longer. And if you mess up, you got to pull out more bolts to get the, to get the bead back in there. So instead of doing it that way, make sure you just go ahead and put your ring on, or at least the majority of the bolts, every other bolt or something like that. And then you can put that on, put your front face on, right? And then the back side on. And then your screws that way. And always cross bolt them. This side, then that side, this side, then that side. And try to evenly tighten it down. Okay. And then you just pinch the tire between the beadlock and the rear rim and the inner ring. So both the outer beadlock and the inner part of the rim are compressing against the inner ring to hold the tire onto that inner ring. Okay? Just doing it this way, you have less bolts to pop out if you need to pull it apart and readjust it. Another thing you can do, I'm sure you've got plenty of these laying around. You can use these to line up your screw holes or paper clips or whatever, and that'll at least get you to line up, and then you can push down flat and put in a screw. Okay? And that just helps you line it up and make sure that you're going straight and your holes are lined up, so you're not sitting there trying to line up your holes while holding your bead in. Okay? We're going to finish this up. I just wanted to point that out. It's also easier to do it that way because the beadlock ring screws are much shorter, right? So there's a beadlock ring screw, and there's the rear or center screw. So it's a lot easier when you have the longer screws to make sure you line up your holes and whatnot. So again, just assemble the front beadlock, put all the screws or most of the screws in, and then you can put it into your tire with your inner ring. And it'll just hold it much better using the longer screws. Way easier. Okay. Oh, we need to put the flubber in there. So before I did the last one, I wanted to show you what they look like stock with stock foams versus the Flubberstuffers. So all three of these have Flubberstuffers in them. You can see how wide they are. And then that's with the stock foam. You can also see there's pretty big height difference. Actually here. So with the Flubberstuffers, we're looking at 63.5, basically, without compressing it. And then with the stocks, we're at basically 66. So 63.5 and 66. So basically 2.5 extra millimeters in height with the foams. Now, while we're at it, I guess we might as well check out the width. So with the stock foams, it looks like we're at about 20. And with the flubbers, these are the V4s, remember. They're not technically made for this. They have a new V5, which probably keeps more of this original shape. But we're at 23? 23.5? 23.5 versus 20. What a huge difference. So it's basically 3.5 millimeters wider and 2.5 millimeters shorter, which I kind of like because I feel like these are a little too tall anyway. So I like that. I like the extra width. Also, something of note, let's see here. Let's see if I can demonstrate here a little bit. So with the foams, your conformity it's pretty even, right? I guess deformation of the tire is pretty even all the way through. With the flubbers, especially these that are oversized wide and not quite as tall, so you actually have kind of like no foams in the beginning, so you get extra conformity, and then it's got some stiffness in there, and you have to push pretty hard to get the extra conforming. But that's kind of nice because it means it's definitely got some sidewall, right? Look at that. You probably can't, I mean, you can't tell, but compared to that, and this. Now it's me pushing the same amount of pressure. I mean, you can just see it there, right? That's a pretty wild difference. So that's going to help your side hilling a lot. But you're still going to get your conformity over your rocks, right? As you Not that this doesn't have conformity, but you have no, especially with how tall these tires are, I mean, you have no side hilling. If you have a heavy rig, you're just going to kind of, versus here, look at that. That's awesome. So I actually think I'm going to likey this. Because again, you get that beginning, first stage of like no foams. Because again, the actual flubber stuffer is a little smaller, right? It's smaller than the tire. So between the tire and this little bit of gap you have, I don't know if you can tell on here, but like there's a little bit of air gap in there. So that's nice. Anyway, all right, I'm excited. Let's get this other one back in here. Not to say that the foams are bad. It's just you're definitely going to want a lighter rig. The heavier your rig gets with these foams and this tall of a tire, the more you're going to roll on a side hill. The more you need something like a flubber stuffer to help, or slime ball from Flubberstufferz to help keep that rigidity on the sides. And that's wild how strong it is, while still maintaining plenty of squish. Plenty of squish, but you don't have all that. Cool, let's go. And here's where they're going. At least for now. So there's the stock FCX24 versus the Injoras. And again, the Injoras would be even taller if we were running just the foams, but the Flubberstuffers kind of flatten them out. Okay. A lot more tire. A lot more tire. So yeah, kind of looking sort of Bronco-y, as in the Denver Broncos with the orange and blue. Maybe, I don't know. That wasn't my intent, but we'll take it. Alrighty, kids, here we go. The Injora pins with some flubs. Oh, and look at that bed. Oh, what a beast. Don't forget, we got the rear steer. The slow crawl on this is so insane. Let's go. That bed's so awesome. We do have a little rubbing. It wasn't designed for these big Injora pins, the comp pins, but oh, what? Can we get up this though? And that's a pretty beastly rock there. Hold on. We're getting it. We're gonna get it. I'm gonna make it happen. Guess not. Sorry, guys. I mean, it's backwards angled. It's rough. We also don't have as much turn in the rear steer as we'd want because we're rubbing so bad on the bed. These tires are huge, right? They're really tall. Even with the Flubberstufferz kind of flattening out, they are so tall. So our rear steer dual rate is turned down quite a bit. Also, make sure you check out right over here. Here we go. Right here, we're going to put a video for the adjusting your dual rate on your channel 3 and 4. Ah, you're getting stuck in a crack. Oof. Remember, this is a completely stock rig. It's all stock part. There's nothing on it that's not stock except for the wheels and tires and flubbies and bed. But the axles, there's no weight, no shocks, nothing is nothing is not FMS stock. Except for the things we're highlighting in this video. Rough. There's a big hole right here. Big hole right down in there. Second gear, we'll probably break something. Woo! Rock bouncing it. Here, we'll go back to first. Dude, the flubby stuffies are so sick. You can't see it, but on the other side of this, it's like conforming in. Oh man, it's holding that sidewall just enough. All right, I think you get the point. These pin comps are sick. I just don't want to, I don't want to break anything because they're sticky for sure. They're getting, the problem is when we get down in that hole, the backs just want to just grab everything in the hole. So that was kind of the problem there. Also, the fact that we're rubbing does not help. Oh no! Oh, and shouldn't have touched it. Oh, we broke something. We broke part of our bed. So the 3D printed bed has these little posts that go through the frame. You can see there's one there, one here, and there was one there. We broke it off. Damn it. We can glue it back on. We'll shoe glue it. That was our fault. We let it fall pretty far. That's a pretty good fall actually. And it landed right on the bed. Okay guys, these Injora pin comps, well, the Injora pin comps plus these awesome wheels, and really the Injora pin comps, the awesome wheels, and the Flubbies, and the FCX24, just a badass combo. Other than the rubbing on our rear, part of it's because we have rear steer, which actually clocks the wheels toward the front of the axle. If this is the front of the axle, they're actually clocked a little forward. So the design of this bed, you can see it's a little bit off for rear steer. Now for normal, if we had a normal axle on the back, or we had smaller, the stock tires, it wouldn't rub. But because it's rear steer, that pushes it back. See, you can see it. Plus the bigger tires pushes it back. So when we turn, we do get a little rubbing. So it's not ideal in that regard for the rear steer, but the bed itself is awesome. If we had the original stocks on there with a regular rear end, it'd be perfect. So this bed is made by Matt Vanghaus. We'll put a link in the description below so you can get more information on it. And yeah, it's actually pretty well done. I love the scale look of it. He's got a bunch of other designs he's working on. He's doing one for the McHugh trailing links length, and I think he's got a couple others for different SCX24 links if you're using those. So that's awesome. He's also working on like different shock mounting points and whatnot. So just keep an eye out for that guy. Maybe he'll get a little Etsy store set up or something so he can start selling these things in mass. Oh, we broke our bumper. When we wrecked, we broke our license plate. Yeah. Again, we fell like directly on the bed. So totally our fault. Nothing a little glue won't fix. That's what we got the E6000 for. Or shoe glue, or just regular super glue, whatever. Anyway, the pin comps, I give them a thumbs up. They are muy bueno. And the Flubberstufferz, again, we have the version 4s, so they're not the proper Flubberstuffer Slymballz. He does have some version 5 Slymballz that are specifically for these, but I think they're going to make it the proper diameter. So they'll be a little taller and a little thinner. We like this. A little bit fattened up and a little shorter. They're not quite as tall as they would be normally. But yeah, the pin comp's awesome. The Flubberstuffer Slymballz, awesome as always. We love to run them in all of our rigs. I'm sure we'll have future videos showing more of them being installed. And the FCX24 is a beast. Again, this was all stock. All stock. There's nothing done to it. And some of those lines in that, I don't know if you can tell from the video, but they are steep and they are some sharp angled rocks. And being able to go up some of those, you can't do that in an SCX24. That's stock. Sorry, you just can't. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, I'm not trying to oversell this thing. It's an awesome rig. Check them out if you are looking to pick up a new rig. If you're looking to pick up these Injoras, as always, they've got awesome wheels, tons of different styles, and the pin comps I'd give them like a 9 out of 10, just because I haven't found anything 10 out of 10 ever. So everything always can be improved. One thing that if I were to have these remade, I would make them a little smaller and a little wider. Obviously, I like that. A little bit wider, a little bit shorter, not as tall, and yeah, that's what I would do. But as they are, fantastic. These will work great on your SCX, especially if you're trying to max it out, right? Like if you've got no fenders, you don't have to worry about rubbing. Killer. Anyway, I'm rambling. I hope y'all found some information in here that educated you a little and maybe inspired a build or inspired a new rig. And yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment down below. Beast mode. Let's call it beast mode. And yeah, get out there and run your cars. Smash them, crash them, and bash them. But don't break the expensive parts. Not that this is expensive, but you just don't want to break parts usually, especially the expensive ones. Next time.